Ripple will allocate $10 million to a tokenized fund on the XRP Ledger. And a major investment firm has gone all in on Solana, buying millions of the token. And Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy have announced they've acquired more Bitcoin. And Coinbase reports $1.4 billion in revenue, beating estimates. We're going to break this down and much more. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Well, folks, over the past 24 hours, there has been liquidations of over $312 million. Stop using leverage, folks. Look, I don't use leverage, but this is what happens when the market swings upwards or downwards, right? Shorts get liquidated on a move upwards, and when there's a move downwards, like we're experiencing right now, longs get liquidated. I pretty much swing trade using spot, but I don't use leverage. If you know what you're doing, you can, but just be careful. It's very risky. But right now, Bitcoin pulling back, currently just below $65,000. We're waiting for that bottom. We're waiting for the next move upwards. So we got to be patient here, guys. It's boring. It's annoying. This sideways chop is so boring, right? But usually this is how the markets behave in the summertime. There's usually not major moves in July and August, but come September and into Q4, there usually is. So this is what we've been talking about with yesterday's news, where the Fed may start to cut in September. Maybe late August, we start to see some movement upwards, and then September, the fireworks really start. So be patient and use this as an accumulation opportunity. Obviously not financial or investment advice. Do your own research. But, some altcoins may bleed a little bit, and it could give you an opportunity to scoop up some dollar cost averaging in, of course, and even Bitcoin as well. I'm personally not buying Bitcoin here because I loaded up in December 2022, January 2023. But I am going to scoop up some altcoins, if they hit certain price points. So you can set limit orders on exchanges as well to buy at certain price points. Even, maybe it hits it, maybe it doesn't. But just keep that in mind. You can use this as a buying opportunity because we're still in a bull market. We're still in an uptrend, folks. And what we saw is that BlackRock and the other big whales have been buying. So the data doesn't lie. The wallet addresses are accumulating. So here, Bitcoin Magazine reported, while Bitcoin is dumping, BlackRock continues to buy more Bitcoin. And they showed the screenshot of the wallet addresses accumulating. So smart money will buy in the dips. And retail and dumb money are going to run scared and panic sell and so forth. But that's where financial education is important, understanding the market cycle so that when these swings happen, you're not panicking because you know where we're at in the market. You know what your plan is, whether you're buying the dips or you're holding steady. So just keep that in mind, folks. Now, speaking of smart money, Michael Saylor reported today that in July, MicroStrategy acquired an additional 169 Bitcoin for $11.4 million and now holds 226,500 Bitcoin. That is insane. I was worried about Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy during the bear market because they obviously raised a lot of debt and so forth to buy that Bitcoin. And the bear market was pretty bloody, right? Let's be honest. So they made it through. They came out on the other side, and I think this is going to pay off incredibly well for Saylor and MicroStrategy. It's already paying off with the arbitrage they're doing with the stock, right? But, Bitcoin as a treasury reserve asset is growing in adoption, and you got presidential candidates saying the United States should do this. So Saylor is ahead of the curve here. This is going to pay off really well for him. All right, we got big altcoin news. First up is XRP. So Ripple to allocate $10 million to tokenize U.S. Treasury Bills on the XRP Ledger. We're seeing tokenization increase, guys. The adoption, obviously, the biggest is BlackRock, where they started the project BUIDL, where they tokenize on Ethereum, and that has reached over $500 million, their fund that they tokenize. So payments network Ripple will allocate $10 million to tokenized version of U.S. Treasury bills, T-bills, that will become available on the XRP Ledger for the first time. The short-term U.S. government debt is being issued as T-bill tokens by tokenization platform OpenEden, according to a Thursday press release. Assets backing the tokens will be invested in short-dated U.S. Treasuries and reverse repurchase agreements, which is also known as repos, collateralized by U.S. Treasuries. Repos are securities sold with an agreement to repurchase them at a higher price at a specified future date. The tokenization of real-world assets and traditional financial securities is a growing sector of the crypto industry. It allows traditional assets, especially private and alternative assets, to be issued, managed, and distributed in a way that is considered more efficient than their off-chain counterparts. Ripple's allocation is part of a larger fund that the company will allocate to tokenized T-bills provided by OpenEden and other unspecified issuers. Neither OpenEden nor Ripple Labs specified dates for the fund's allocation and the release. So this is great news for the XRP Ledger, but we want to see more, right? There's a lot more happening on Ethereum and other blockchains. We know that Franklin Templeton is tokenizing on the Stellar blockchain, and its native token is Lumens, which is XLM. And we want to see more, but this is great news. And the future is tokenization, folks, where different securities, commodities, and assets will be on the blockchain. I've often stated 24/7 trading markets, no more opening and closing bell, secondary and tertiary markets created, and accessibility to folks globally, because right now, not everyone can access the New York Stock Exchange, but tokens on the blockchain can easily be accessed by anyone across the world. So I think that's what the future, that's where we're headed to, the token economy, as I've stated many times. So this is really big news for XRP. And look, XRP on the charts, looking good from a macro perspective. I'm not talking about the micro of what's happening right now, but it looks like it's primed for a breakout upwards. And I'm hoping that dovetails with news that Ripple and SEC have concluded the lawsuit, the remainder of the lawsuit that is still on the table. And hopefully that will allow XRP to move pretty strong. But this is great news. All right, let's move ahead. Cypherpunk Holdings doubles down on Solana again. So Toronto-based investment firm Cypherpunk Holdings has once again increased its exposure to Solana according to its latest public filing. Since mid-July, the firm has purchased about 23,000 additional SOL tokens, bringing its total to 86,294 tokens, which is $21.6 million. Wow, they're very bullish on SOL. And look, I mentioned about a month ago, I think it was, I put a lot more money into Solana because there's a lot of liquidity going into this token. So I'm going to ride the liquidity wave and make some great returns. And part of the reason why I did that is the ETF filings, in Canada, in the United States. Plus, I finally saw real world adoption on Solana, where Hamilton Lane tokenized on the Solana blockchain. They launched this cool new feature called Blinks, which would allow integration into social platforms. So those are real things outside of meme coins. I was not on the meme coin train at all. Okay, fine. You got a lot of meme coins and that's generating a lot of transactions, but that's not real world application. But when I saw real products, real services, and real companies building on Solana, that got me to change my mind. And then the institutional interest in as far as an ETF. So this is pretty bullish. Last month, the block was the first to report that Cypherpunk had 10x its SOL bag to 63,000 tokens, worth $14 million at the time, from its initial investment of 6,131 tokens. As recently as the end of the first quarter of 2024, it held no SOL. So they took a big bet recently, and I think they see why, right? They can make a really great return. It's pretty easy because there's a lot of liquidity, plus the institutional demand for ETFs and much more. The move is part of a significant shift in the focus for the company, which was one of the first publicly traded firms to buy Bitcoin to act as a proxy for investing in crypto. Cypherpunk also reduced its own sizable Bitcoin holdings by about 110 Bitcoin and currently holds just over 52 Bitcoin, which is $5.2 million. It used about 45 of those Bitcoin to exercise a buy order of 20,000 SOL tokens options, while the rest were sold for a profit, according to its public filing. The firm purchased its first Bitcoin in 2018. So I think they recognize they will get more gains by allocating to Solana. They're not getting rid of all their Bitcoin, but I think we've seen historically altcoins perform Bitcoin, right? Not that you can't make money off of Bitcoin, but it's a matter of the percentage returns and your entry price. So Solana is already up significantly from its bear market bottom. So this is pretty cool. When Leah Wall took the reins as CEO in early July, she told that Bitcoin was far and away the firm's largest holding. A multi-million-dollar investment in metaverse company Animoca Brands was not far behind. It now appears, however, that the firm is taking a different track by reducing its exposure to Bitcoin and selling off its $5.6 million worth of Animoca shares. So this is very bullish if you hold Solana. And once again, I've updated my portfolio where I've allocated a significant amount into Sol. I'm not telling you to do that. Do your own research. I did that based on my own research. So this is pretty bullish for Solana, in my opinion. And I believe there's other firms doing the same. Now, guys, quick word from our sponsor, and that is VeChain. VeChain is one of the top layer one enterprise blockchains out there, where many enterprises are using them to build Web3 technology and sustainability projects and much more. I'm a vet token holder in full transparency. I have been for a long time. I'm very bullish on this project. Some of the brands that are working with VeChain include BMW, Givenchy, Walmart China, PwC, Boston Consulting Group. So they're getting a lot of big time adoption. And some of the key features of the VeChain blockchain includes it is secure, affordable, scalable, fast, and sustainable. If you'd like to learn more, visit vchain.org. Link will be in the description. Now, guys, Coinbase reports $1.4 billion in revenue, beating estimates. And Coinbase is obviously, I believe, the second largest exchange in the world behind Binance. They have the branding. They've been doing some great things, launching great products and services. And I do hold some Coinbase stock, and not financial advice, but I believe it will perform well because of crypto's rise. But also, I've told you guys, global liquidity is on the rise. Rate cuts are coming, so the stock market, real estate, the crypto, everything will rise. We're in a macro bull market. But I like to diversify, so I'm holding some Coinbase stock as well. But this is pretty incredible. And look, the number of transactions they're reporting here on Base, their Ethereum layer 2, it grew by 300% quarter over quarter, and it's a big revenue driver for them. So smart move in launching Base, and they didn't issue a token, and they're just collecting fees. So really, really big move for them. And look, I think the other thing exchanges are going to have to do, guys, and take into consideration is that Wall Street is here with ETFs. And they're going to pull away a lot of the retail who would have gone to exchanges to buy their crypto. They're going to go through ETFs. So, or not all of them, but, you know, a good amount. So exchanges have to diversify their revenue. And certainly derivatives trading and all these things are a big revenue driver. But the traditional spot buying and so forth, it's going to decrease. So these exchanges have to look at other ways to generate revenue. And I think Coinbase, they saw the writing on the wall, and they launch Base, and they're doing other great things. So these exchanges, if they don't up their game and launch new services and increase the value add, mom and pop are going to go to BlackRock and buy their Bitcoin and Ether and eventually other altcoins. So just keep that in mind. All right, we got some interesting updates here around crypto regulations. So Senator Cynthia Lummis's The Bitcoin Act of 2024 is officially live. Cody Carbone of the chamber tweeted it out. He says, "Thank you, Senator Lummis, for your leadership. The establishment of a strategic Bitcoin reserve and Bitcoin purchasing program positions the U.S. for global leadership in digital assets. The initiative is essential." So if you recall at the Bitcoin conference, she highlighted that this is something she's working on. So it's officially live, and it's pretty historic. It's pretty historic, guys. I'm not expecting this to be signed into law, you know, by the end of the year. Maybe, but that would be incredibly bullish if it happens. But I think this is pretty much getting the ball rolling here. So pretty incredible stuff here, guys. I'm excited for the future adoption of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Dennis Porter, who heads up the Satoshi Act Fund, which does a lot of crypto advocacy, he tweeted out today, huge, ending choke point 2.0 and opposing CBDC discuss in packed panel at the Capitol. The winds are shifting on Bitcoin policy in Washington, D.C. The staff is paying close attention. This is great. Shout out to Dennis and even folks at the Digital Chamber and the Blockchain Association who are in DC every day on Capitol Hill talking to different folks to try to get them to change their policy. Crypto should not be a partisan issue. It should be bipartisan. It shouldn't be an election issue. Unfortunately, Elizabeth Warren and her cronies are the reason that happened. But it needs to get to a place where crypto is not even discussed as a Republican or Democrat issue. It's just an American issue. We are embracing technology, creating jobs, and so forth. So this is really great to hear. And I cover Operation Choke Point 2.0 and Gary Gensler, Elizabeth Warren, and the anti-crypto army in my book, Rethinking Crypto, which is available on Amazon in paperback and digital. Grab a copy to support the podcast. Grab a couple copies for your friends and family who want to learn about crypto. If you bought a copy already, be sure to leave a rating and review. It will help my rankings. Thank you guys so much. And don't forget to subscribe to my free email newsletter on Substack. And it's 100% free, guys. So it's filled with crypto insights and knowledge. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. I appreciate you all. And I'll talk to you all later.